2, 1. This is Lacey Rice with kysports.tv talking to Coach Darnell Williams, the head coach of Kentucky State University's Thoroughbred men's basketball team. After a thrilling 84-74 win over Claflin University of the Southern Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. Coach, I believe this is your second game in the conference. You've won both games. What's your outlook for your team heading into the conference?
A very positive outlook. We just continue to keep playing hard and just battling every night. You just never know what can happen. But as long as the guys are playing with energy and effort and giving it all they have, you can't be mad at them.
Okay. How did your pre-SIAC schedule prepare you for your conference schedule?
It prepared us well. Played 2 Division I opponents. Kentucky is one, IUPUI, and playing at Southern Indiana, a hostile environment, their first home game. And was in the game in most of all these games except the Kentucky game. But it makes us know that if we can play hard, stick to the game plan, and we could be able to play with anybody. If we can play with some of the bigger teams and hold our own, we figure we can stay with some of the teams in the SIAC.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned IUPUI, Division I institution that has actually been to the NCAA tournament quite a few times.
Yes.
And you kept that game pretty close. You didn't win that game, but it was a close game as all of your games have been in your pre-SIAC schedule, except, like you said, the Kentucky game. The type of players that you have, what type of game plan do you have for them?
What I have for them with the team I got is we want to utilize our speed. We want to use our ball handling and our shooting. So we just try to get the ball up the court as fast as we can and just keep constant motion, constant pressure on the defense. So one thing about it is, a lot of kids nowadays don't really like to play defense, but we harp on it with our defensive pressure. But so on the offensive pressure, we just want to put pressure. I had a coach, I played for Skip Prosser. We was never big as Xavier, and they always say speed kills. Doesn't matter how big a team is, just matter if you can give. Once you get that ball off that backboard, now can they run with you?
Okay. One of the things I noticed in your pre-SIAC games is that all the games were high scoring on both ends. In fact, when I first looked at just the scores, it just seemed to me like there was no defense being played, like the teams were just going back and forth, back and forth. However, after actually witnessing a game, I saw that your guys played a lot of defense, a lot of pressure defense, on the ball pressure. I believe you got a few block shots today also. How does your defense stack up with what you think you'll face in the SIAC this year?
I think we stack up pretty well. You got teams some teams are bigger, so they'll pack it in, force you to their shot blockers. You got teams that are pressed. So, I just want to have my guys and use what we got. If we got speed, we're going to pressure the ball. We ain't going to be afraid to pressure nobody. As people seen, we play Kentucky, we press them. We went to IUPUI, we press them. We're not going to be afraid of nobody. I tell my guys we're not backing down. Draw the line in the sand and we staying right there.
Okay. You mentioned some teams are bigger, and I noticed from looking at your roster, you have one athlete that's 6'8". Nobody else on the squad is 6'5" or above. And you have four players who are, I believe, 5-something. How does that size stack up with the size of the SIAC?
We might not be the biggest team, but we might have the biggest hearts. Like number 32, William Bryant's going to battle. Reggie Breeden's going to battle. Malcolm's going to battle. My little guards, they going to battle. And Julius held his own tonight. Played a very, very, very good game, did what he wanted. And like I tell him, if we gang rebound and we just do the fundamental stuff, we could be fine. Because if you box up, can't jump over our back because it's a foul. So, I just try to harp the fundamentals, box out. If you box out, we get the ball, now let's go.
Okay. You entered the game with the number one assist man in Division Two in Dorian Jordan, but today he took 18 shots, scored 21 points for you, but he only had and he had 6 rebounds, but he only had 4 assists. Is that the type of game you want him to play, or is the situation just dependent upon your opponent?
It was dependent on the opponent today. He hit some tough layups. A couple guys missed a couple open shots that they normally hit for him. And, he knows it. He's one of the best passers in Division II basketball. Just today was one of the days where it wasn't falling for the other guys, so he took it upon himself and scored 21 points. But shoot, at 5'5", got 6 rebounds. Maybe had 3-4 steals. I'll take it. I don't want him to take 18 shots, and he knows that. But sometimes you got to try to find a way to get a win.
Right, right. Well, one of the things that I noticed in the stats about your defense is that it produced 14 steals today, which is a very high number. Claflin itself, they played some pretty decent D, and they only came away with 4 steals. You had a Reggie Breeden with 5, and besides Dorian, who you mentioned, you also had Quentin Henderson with 3 each. And just one guy having 5, that was more than Claflin got as a team. Is your defense really dependent upon, especially with the size, is it dependent on getting the balls from whoever's dribbling or getting in the passing lanes or whatnot? Because it said you only have one guy that's 6'8". You did still produce 4 block shots out of that.
Well, we got to use our speed. And being that we're not the biggest team, so we're just going to try to wear you down 94 feet. Mm-hmm. As the game go on with harassing D in the passing lane, sometimes you get steals. And Reggie's one of the better help side defenders at reading and anticipating the ball. Mm-hmm. Quentin Henderson might be our best on-ball defender. Mm-hmm. Overall, might be our best defender, period, point blank. And then you got Dorian, that's so little, that's just like a little gnat that just doesn't go nowhere. And then Julius, a couple blocks where, he might not be the strongest guy, but if he just does that every night for me, what he gave me tonight, plus shooting 7 for 8 from the free throw line, I can't ask for more from the big guy.
Okay. You mentioned also like Reggie Breeden. Looking at the roster, I believe he's listed as like a guard forward. Now in high school, he played point guard. So I know that gives you some more versatility as far as your team, and it actually seemed like your team handled the ball pretty well as a team.
Yeah, when we go small, a lot of people's into the small ball thing. I just take what I got. And with the roster that I got, when we go small, we just going to spread you out. And with Reggie being a point guard in high school, point guard when he first went to the first school, IU Southeast, that gives us a 4th ball handler on the floor. Many teams can't do that. And he's one of the tougher kids that we got. Between him and Quentin Anderson might be the 2 toughest kids that I have. And if you say Reggie guard a 7-footer, he's going to try his best. Him and Malcolm Smith, they did a great job playing undersized 4s. But that just gives us another ball handler.
Right. Okay. With you playing small ball, actually I believe that's when you started breaking the game open in the first half is when you went smaller and brought in your second team. And can you speak as to why there was that maybe that spark that they brought in that the first team just didn't have initially, but then came back later on in the game and got?
Well, sometimes it's the matchups and just the flow of the game. And, sometimes it don't be early, sometimes it be late. So, when I went small, like we went small the other night, if a team's going to not match up to us, that's what I like. I'd rather them stay with they big. So we going to battle, then once we get it, we gone. And you're not going to be able to keep running. After a lot of them big leg guys going to get tired, and we going to keep going. And I'm going to get another sub. We can go small. There was times where I had 5 guards on the court. Reggie Breeden was playing center, guard at number 33. Once we got that ball at the backboard, we gone. So, you give the cards that you're dealt. And being for the years, even when I coached AAU basketball, I never had a 6'10", 7-footer ever. Never really had a 6'8" guy ever. So small ball been my thing for a long time.
Okay. Is there a specific major D1 that people might be more familiar with that you're modeling after, maybe Villanova or one of those teams that have run five guards in their starting lineup, or four guards in a forward?
Well, if you look at it, the old Villanova teams that Jay Wright had when he had Randy Foy, Allen Ray, that made their run to the NCAA Final Four, they started four guards and a power forward. Just about, but they just battle. Then even if you look at the Golden State Warriors right now, it's times where they go five guards with Draymond Green playing the five. He's really a small forward. Andre Iguodala's a small forward. So it's the new game. It's the new game. But you got teams that still have their bigs, but it's matchups. And when you go small, it becomes a matchup problem. Because now you got a big trying to guard a guard. And sometimes it didn't work. And in a lot of games this year, pre-conference, it helped a lot. IUPUI really helped. Southern Indiana really helped. And the last two games it really helped, because now even if you match up to us, is your speed the same as ours?
Okay. And since you mentioned that, in the game that you played against University of Kentucky, Coach Cal even alluded to your speed, that the type of ball that you were playing exposed some things in his team that his team really needed to see, because they couldn't press you like they would probably press other teams that are slower. That your guys, even though they were a lot smaller than UK guys, your guys were actually getting to the rim against them. It's just, unfortunate that when they were getting there, they didn't see those trees that were coming in out the blind.
And like I told my guys, I just wanted to be in attack mode that game.
Right.
And we're not going to see too many teams with that kind of size, that kind of shot blocking. And I figure if they can attack them, get by them, 4, 5 future NBA players, then why should we be scared of anybody else?
So have your guys taken what you've taught them and what they've personally learned from that UK game and tried to apply it with each game so far this year?
Yes, they have. And not just that game. IUPUI was one. Southern Indiana was one. When we played Asbury, a little bit of adjustment. So everything's an adjustment, but just stay in attack mode. And if you stay in attack mode, you stay aggressive. You get a couple whistles your way. You get a couple layups go down. It's like Dorian Jordan tonight. Even though the big fellow was blocking a couple shots, he's not going to be able to block that floater. It's either going to be a goaltend, a bucket, or I have my big fella coming from the other side because he left, got to put back.
Okay. Start wrapping up on this interview. Are there any other players that you want to talk about?
Tristan Ford played well today. Hit a couple shots. Teddy Ware, Kevin Shaw, they all just buying into the system. I know a lot of guys, everybody want to play 30, 40 minutes. Sometimes in a win, you might not be going your way. You still just got to be part of the team, be a cheerleader. Just be there for each other. And, I feel everybody buying in tonight. Quentin Henderson gave us a great spark off the bench. So did Reggie Breeden. Malcolm Smith didn't have a great shooting night, but he did little things to help, rebounding, playing great defense. So it was a team effort. Not one guy ever wins a game. So it was a team effort.
Okay. Who's your next opponent, and what can you say about them at this point?
Our next opponent is Benedict College, the reigning SIAC champs. Coach Watson does a great job with his guys. So it's going to be another battle. I've been watching too many film on them because I worry I just go one game at a time. Don't like to look ahead. But, they got their point guard is coming back very good, solid, speed. So it's going to be speed versus speed right there from the jump. So, he does a real good job. Guys is well coached. So, watch some film tonight, watch some film tomorrow, find a game plan, and just try to go out and get another W.
Okay. Kentucky State is 3-3 overall, 2-0 in the SIAC. Coming up against the SIAC Power. I believe that game is Monday. And so we do wish you a lot of luck in that.
Thank you.
And hope that the Thoroughbreds can represent Kentucky well and come back with another win and go 3-0 in the SIAC.
Thank you. That's all we're trying to do, make Kentucky State proud. Go Thoroughbreds.
Go Breds.